Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Renee Mehrra. Thank you so much for joining my show. Today, my guest is Shomik Chaudhuri, journalist, author of Some Whispers from Eternity. Shomik is also the United Nations representative for NGO Institute of International Social Development. He was a representative for the United Nations system in India for the World Summit organized by the United Nations on social development in Copenhagen, Denmark in 1995. Thank you so much for joining me, Shomik.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
So let's talk about your book, Some Whispers from Eternity. This book is talking about the evolution of consciousness, and we're talking about evolution of personal consciousness as well as global consciousness, so that we have an upliftment of humanity. Tell us the genesis behind this book.
Well, actually speaking, I think, the book has culminated into something which would be like a service to humanity. So it is actually, I started, having a deep interest in spirituality right from childhood, maybe 7-8 years of age, when our, games used to be to meditate as long as we can, along with my brothers and sisters and cousins and everyone. So that was our play when we were young. And then over the years, we have been practicing, meditation, japa, chanting, and things like that, and devotion. And on the way, we connected with, we met with, associated with divinely inspired and realized saints who used to come to our place, and they taught us various forms of sadhana, including Kriya Yoga, the initial stages of Kriya Yoga. So that is, how we started. But actually, the way we saw the world, we understood that we have to create one earth, one family, which was the UN slogan for, the International Year of the Family in 1994. So that is something which we have been thinking of and we have been working on all through our lives. And that actually gave us the impetus and the kind of guidance to implement it all over the world. And the way we saw it, I saw it, was that the issue which was missing, the main missing factor in the whole of humanity coming together, is the lack of spiritual understanding and spiritual recognition of the oneness of everything. So for that, actually, I presented at the World Summit for Social Development as the youngest United Nations representative of India. The fact that social development starts from the individual level. And from the individual level, it moves to the family, to the society, to the region, to the country, and of course, globally. So to improve oneself, we have to start not only from the physical aspect, but from our spiritual aspect also. We have to focus on improving our spiritual consciousness also. And that is the thing which I presented at the World Summit for Social Development. And that is what I have been working on, for the past so many years, all through my life, actually, to promote spirituality amongst people all over the world. And in fact, I actually became a co-founder of an NGO Committee on Spirituality, Values, and Global Concerns at the United Nations.
And I was one of the speakers at that time.
Yes, you were. Our main idea was to promote the importance of spirituality to the United Nations. And fortunately, the work that we did has become, successful. And UN now recognizes spirituality as an important part of, human development.
One of the Millennium Development Goals is about social inclusion, justice, and peace.
Yes, exactly.
It's so very important to focus on spirituality.
So, sure. So thereafter, of course, I met my spiritual master, His Holiness Jagat Guru Ramananda Acharya Ji, Rajiv Lochanacharya Ji, in New York, of all places. And he initiated me in Om Kriya Yoga, which he was initiated into by Mahavatar Kriya Babaji of an autobiography of a yogi fame. So I got initiated in that, and I have been practicing that ever since. But in fact, I heard my Guruji, my spiritual master, say that Kriya Babaji, Mahavatar Kriya Babaji, wanted this Om Kriya Yoga, which is the simplest form of Kriya Yoga, to spread all over the world. And with my journalistic background, where I have been writing for the past 30, 40 years in various newspapers and magazines, I thought that it might be a good idea to put everything into the form of a book, which can, reach people all around the globe. And people can, follow and practice, this Om Kriya Yoga so that they can elevate themselves easily. So that is how the book came into being. Over there, I have mentioned everything about Om Kriya Yoga, from the first to the last steps, so that anyone who wants, they can read it and they can follow it. It is very simple. They can follow it and practice it and elevate themselves.
I had the fortune of interviewing your guru, Jagat Guru Ramanandacharya Rajiv Lokanacharya ji. Actually demonstrated Om Kriya Yoga technique on my TV show. You can demonstrate to our viewers this technique which enhances your spiritual growth.
I'll share today with your audience one aspect, that is Om. It is Om Kriya Yoga. So the main focus is on the chanting of Om. Om, or the primordial sound, So that is Uma, but in Sanskrit you have the and coming together to become O. So it's Om, O-M, Om. So the way you chant it is 25% is O and 75% is Ma. I'll explain the steps to do Om chanting. So now I will just show what people can do to chant Om and energize themselves. The energy of Om actually is omnipresent. It's everywhere. But the thing, like air is everywhere, but you have to put on the fan or the AC to feel it. Similarly, Om energy is everywhere, but to imbibe it inside us, to attract that energy inside us, we have to do certain processes. One is that you first raise your hands and point your fingers up like this. The reason being, the ends of the fingers, they are the places where the energy finds easy to come in and go out also. So you raise your hands and chant Om 3 times. Then you use the index finger to close your ears and chant Om 3 times, understanding or visualizing, not only visualizing, but experiencing the chant of Om reverberating in your system. Then you close your eyes with your palm and chant Om 3 times, and you visualize this time the an Om which is full of light right in front of your eyes. And then you make the Jnana Mudra, which is touching the thumb with your finger and putting it on your lap and chanting it 3 times. So that is what you need to practice. And the more you practice this, the more energy you receive from the environment.
So it's basically revitalizing the subtle life currents and energy.
Yes.
And this can be done by anyone at any time of the day?
Yes, anytime and anyone.
So how long is this technique for? 5-10 minutes?
You just do it 3 times, in all the 4 stages. And then you can actually get into meditation, and hear the chant of Om, inside you. So that is something which you can do.
Kind of brings that stillness in the body, and then we can actually meditate better.
Yes. And actually it also brings in the energy, which enables you to concentrate and uplift yourself more.
Along with Om Kriya Yoga in the book, which is 15 chapters, you also bring in 15 temples, ancient Vedic temples in India. You also talk about the science behind the temples, that they're constructed in such a way so that you have that life force, and the directions, the dish of the temples, that there are 4 primary directions and 10 directions. And they're beautiful temples. They have great pictures of the temples. Meenakshi Temple, which is known as the Wonder of India, which is in southern India. And then we have the Padmanabha Swami Temple, again in southern part of India. And that had gold throne, and there was a lot of gold in that temple, but it was, of course, later on invaded by the Mughals. According to your book, it has like almost US $1 trillion.
Yes, actually, as you know, India was the richest country in the world till probably the 8th or the 9th century AD. And it was still somewhat one of the richest countries of the world till the 17th century, when the British came. So over the years, over millennia, actually, so people, the kings, the rulers, they had been donating to the temples because that was the center of the entire community of the entire society. That is where education used to be given. That is where training in music, dance, everything used to be given. That is where debates, so many other things used to happen. That was the center of the entire society over there. And not only that, these energies, as you mentioned just now, these ancient Vedic temples were actually built on the Vastu Shastra, which is a science of building, constructing various things, including temples. So they used to use the cosmic person as a person, and they used to construct the temples based on the fact that these are various parts of that cosmic person, as if he's, bearing the entire temple on his back. So this is the head. The head is where the main sanctum used to be there. So various parts were designated according to that, and it was built according to that. And it was also based on the fact that certain areas had certain energies, and based on that, the temples used to be constructed so that whoever used to come to the temple, they used to experience tremendous amount of positive energy. And that is something which attracted people to come to the temple and have everything around the temple. And that is why actually, everyone had a connection to the temple.
Right.
But unfortunately, what happened over the years with the invasions and, people were looting left, right, and center. So all these things just, became unimportant to people, because the entire focus shifted from the temple to elsewhere. And that is why I thought that it might be a very, very good idea to promote the ancient Indian temples in my book, so that people who are reading it, who are coming to know about it, they can visit the temples, they can research more about the temples and revive the temples once again in terms of their importance, in terms of their in terms of the visitors, in terms of the support, whatever. And of course, they also benefit themselves because they get tremendous amount of positive energy, which has been there for from time immemorial.
What you're also bringing about in this book is like a conversation between you and your friend Madhu. That's how you're unfolding the Vedic wisdom. You're talking about the temples. You're talking about spiritual consciousness. So it becomes like more like a very robust conversation, rediscovering our culture and our heritage through this conversation that you bring out. Whether this person Madhu is a fictitious friend, I'm not sure, but it's a great way of putting it out. You're bringing out the core message of the Vedas, which is the reunion of the soul with God, Atma with Paramatma. And we've forgotten that because we get so distracted by the temptations and the attractions of the material world. And here you're bringing back the evolution of our consciousness on a personal level, on a societal level, on a global level. And you talk about 5 different categories of consciousness. And I thought that was really interesting. The first one being the lowest is you're talking about the limited consciousness, which we see
Covered
in plants.
consciousness, yes.
Covered consciousness, plants and trees. And then
Yes.
you go up to the second level, which is shrunken consciousness,
Shrunken
which
consciousness
is the
among the
insects
animals and
and
so insects.
animals. And the third one is the budding
Budding.
consciousness. Yes.
So that means, why is it budding? Because, it has tremendous potential.
Mm.
It can bloom into a flower, or it can remain as a bud,
Yes.
depending on how you act, on this opportunity of a human life. So what happens is, if you are really putting in some kind of at least interest in knowing the reality, who you are, and why are you here, all these things, inquiries about your spiritual or your actual identity, then it starts blooming, you know.
Yeah.
And when you get into deep sadhana, or for that matter, meditation, or whatever you do, and once you get to realize, your identity with the universal consciousness, or, Parabrahma, so that is the time when it becomes fully bloomed. So you become a fully bloomed consciousness, that when you realize that the entire creation is one. I'll give you one example over here. In quantum physics, quantum entanglement is a new which has come up. And for that, the people who propounded this theory, two of them got Nobel Prizes also, I think last year. So here the idea is that the experience is that if a particle is here on Earth, there is another particle at the end of the universe. They will have some kind of a link.
Yeah.
So basically, what they are trying to say is that if you are talking on planet Earth, it'll have some effect on the most distant planet, or any body, so planet or whatever, in the furthest points of the universe. So they are coming to the conclusion that we are all connected, and the entire creation is one, because we are all connected. So that is something which has come up.
And then the last one is enlightened completely. So you're
Yes.
completely in connection with the union.
Yes.
And we talk about oneness, and my spiritual master always talks about be good, do good, be one. And that oneness is so very important. The oneness that you feel between you and the universe, oneness between you and the creator. But again, we've forgotten all this. So we rediscover it through our sages, mystics, and saints, through books, and then experience it, because it's all experiential. You have to
Yes.
feel it to know that this is real. This is the real thing. But we get so
Yes.
trapped into the material world that we think material world is the real thing. So it's all about lost identity, and I think mistaken identity. We're mistaking ourselves to be physical beings, but we're actually spiritual beings having a physical experience.
Exactly.
And this book brings us back, and all saints and mystics and seers have talked about it, but somehow we are engulfed in the physical distractions. Richard Barrett also talks about the 7 levels of consciousness, how we can really evolve. And it's so very important in this age of turmoil and challenging times that we talk about consciousness that is personally evolved, and then we are able to transform ourselves and then transform our neighborhood or societies, and consciousness of nations. That is so very important, so that there is peace all around.
Yes. So what I feel, and I'm very, very passionate about this thing, is that we as human beings, every one of us, we have to strive to evolve our consciousness to a higher level. Because if we do, then we can influence the family to do, and then slowly the society, the region, the nation, the world, everyone can evolve. But the thing is, until and unless some people evolve, they cannot find or experience or realize the oneness amongst all humanity and all creation. So until and unless they realize it, no amount of speeches or talks or reading can help them.
Yeah.
You have to experience it, realize it. And that is where this Kriya Yoga or any sadhana that we are talking about, that becomes very, very relevant and very, very important. So if we are looking to achieve the sustainable development goals, for example, we have to evolve also our consciousness, then only we, rise above greed, hatred, and so many other vices. Then only we'll be able to cooperate with each other and see that mutual wellness and good happens all around. Then only we can build a society which is actually sustainable, which is peaceful, which is loving, and where people cooperate with each other. So that is, I think, very, very important.
Yeah, I think the next generation needs to become stewards of peace, ambassadors of peace, and they have to cultivate these values of compassion and kindness and love and oneness so that they're able to transform themselves as well. I want to ask you, Shomik, how has this technique of Om Kriya Yoga transformed you? Because you've been doing it for a very long time.
Yes. Well, actually, Kriya Yoga, for that matter, is the most scientific and the fastest way in which you can evolve your consciousness to the ultimate level. And it is because, you use your energies. In fact, each and every human being has tremendous amount of potent energy at the base of his or her spine. And the process is to arouse that energy and raise it up, the spine, that is called the Shushubna, which is an ethereal, part of our existence, and raise it to the crown of our head and beyond that. And what happens is when that tremendous amount of energy gets, raised, it's, emerging, then what happens? Your consciousness gets into a higher frequency and it starts evolving automatically. And slowly you raise yourself from the animal level in which you were in to the divine level, which is your actual identity. So Om Kriya Yoga, I have been practicing from 1999 when I met my spiritual master. And I think I have evolved tremendously personally. And what I have gained is, in fact, I've lost a lot of things like anger, like greed, like so many other issues that an ordinary human being like me has. And I have lost all those things. I've become more calm. I've become more strong mentally to handle all the issues that come in, challenges that come in. I solve them with a lot of I would say I'm more stoic. I'm able to handle them with a lot of calm and I would say intelligence that normally doesn't come. It becomes impulsive. It used to be impulsive at that time, but now I'm calm and I can think what is the right best way to do it. So I think in all those things, I think I've gained tremendously. And of course, I'm very blissful. I have gained a lot of bliss inside all the time, and I'm peaceful also, or a lot of peace has descended on me for a long time, all the time, in fact. So I think I have gained a lot of, and I've also understood, gained some perspective on the realities of life and of creation and anything related with that.
For me, meditation balances me, grounds me, and I look at life from a different lens. Nothing changes. It's just my perception of life changes. And that's how you bring that balance in you and that equipoise. So taking the journey within is so very important for me. Any new projects for you after Some Whispers from Eternity?
Well, I have actually thought of writing an autobiography, maybe a couple of years or a few years down the line. Primarily to inspire people that even though you go through the hardest of experiences, most difficult experiences, but if you stick to what you have to do, and if you have certain faith, certain convictions in your life, and you go at it, continuously do it day after day, night after night, you generally come out and you succeed.
This too shall pass, Tathastu.
Tathastu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shomik. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. We've known each other for a very long time, and I always say you're my spiritual brother. And good luck with your new projects and your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, and it was such a pleasure talking with you and sharing my experiences and the book, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, if anyone wants to buy the book, it is available on Barnes& and Noble website and Amazon website and also Doran's publishing website.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Dr. Renee Mehrra. Stay healthy, stay positive.